And we are back for another day of Pauper Commander January. This time we're bringing you the deck No Abilities, No Problem, which is pretty much a deck that functions on running off a bunch of vanilla creatures thanks to Jasmine, Boreal of the 7, which is a 3-drop that can tap to add a white and a green mana, but it can only be spent on creatures with no abilities, and all creatures with ability can't block creatures without abilities. So it pretty much kind of makes itself, it's like a big vanilla tribal, so let's go ahead and go with the deck and show you what it's all about. Funny enough, the creatures are probably the least interesting part because they're all just big bunguses like 4/2, 9/9, this is probably one of the best ones, Axebane Stag. There's not really anything special any of these do. They're pretty much all vanillas mixed with mana dorks, but we don't have mana dorks in this tab. Burning Veil Tree Folk's one of the only interesting ones. It just puts 2 1/1 counters on a creature, and then on the field it's a 6/5 vanilla. It's fine. But I'm also playing stuff like the 3/1s, which normally are pretty in danger of dying to just chump blockers, so you just block it and no big deal. But because they can't be blocked with creatures with abilities, it makes them a lot more threatening, so they can do a lot of uncontested damage pretty easily. I could list them all out, but there's not much really to go over, to be quite frankly. They're just vanillas. You can place probably a lot of these. Like, this deck can be built with pretty much whatever just random pull comments you have, if they have no abilities, if you've been playing a long time. Genuinely, and it does very well. It's a very powerful deck because just doing essentially unblockable damage is very good. Plus, our commander herself ramp, along with all the other ramp, so it's all just very powerful. So let's go over to the more interesting side of things that aren't just kind of the not build themselves. Let's go over the removal. So we're playing pretty much a mixture of fight spells and artifact enchant removal. So disenchant is straight target artifact creature. Duel for Dominance, we can make 2 creatures fight, but if you have 3 more creatures with different powers, it gets a 1/1 before it fights. Fierce Retribution is pretty much a removal spell that destroys a target attacking creature. Central Ramping it, we can cleave it relatively easily. Lethal Sabotage destroys a target artifact or enchantment, and that's Conspire, so we can tap 2 creatures along with it to copy it. During the Nord, exiles a creature till it leaves the battlefield. Nature's Claims, destroy a target artifact or enchantment. Piercing Rage exiles a target tapped creature, and it has forecast, so you can pay 2 and a white to reveal it. From your hand, to tap a target untapped creature. So it's kind of protection mixed with removal. And Central Ramping, we can forecast it relatively consistently. Prize Fight is another fight spell that lets us just make a treasure token on top of that. So its response is to destroy target tapped creature, and Take Vengeance also destroys target tapped creature, both very cheap, so that's why I'm playing it. We could be playing like the enchantment ones, but we're only playing like just the Journey Nowhere. Just having the 2 mana one seemed like the best course of action. Mana Rock's pretty basic, just the Arcane Signet, Bonner's Ornament, Commander's Field, and the 2 Celestias, a Locket and a Signet. Pretty basic ramp Mana Rock package. And then same for the ramp package, pretty basic, like the basic green ones like Cultivate, Explore for draw power, Forerunnering for just kind of extra boost because of Threshold. Fall Streak. Greatest Tanuki's one, it's a 6/5 trample if we choose to cast it, or we can just channel it for 2 and a green to pretty much add a basic land onto the battlefield. And then you're playing a Sacker Tribelbel, just a decent, it's a very good ramp card because it's a blocker that you can sack to then ramp. Ecologist's Terrarium is probably the most unique one because we can pay 2 and sacrifice it to put a 1/1 counter on a creature. So we can put it on a big creature that make it do even more damage because it's unblockable. And then Matadork's pretty simple package. Avacyn Pilgrim can tap for white, and then Elvish Mystic, Fenhold Elves, Llanowar Elves all tap for green. And then Steward of Valion, which I didn't know existed till I built this deck. It's a 2/2 of Vigilance and can tap to add green. So overall, that's the deck. This is kind of a quicker one because there's not that much to talk about. It's just a very powerful deck that's very easy to build. You can pretty much make a bunch of different ways with this as long as you have a package of vanilla creatures to back it up. Since you have so many ways to ramp and our commander itself is a Mana Rock herself, or Mana Dork, excuse me, we can cast these big vanilla creatures very easily. Anyways, that is the deck list. Hopefully y'all liked it. Overall, it is kind of straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward game plan. It's not too much variety, just putting out big creatures onto the battlefield, but sometimes that's all you need.